Hello, and welcome to the demonstration of Brute Force Attack 2 Beta. I am the one they call Lums, and in this video I will demonstrate the first beta version of Brute Force Attack 2. It's been about 10 months since the last video, and I would say most of that time has been spent focusing on university, but that would imply I've actually been getting good grades. So, let's get into it. The first thing you'll see is this brand new menu. The previous menu was garbage, so I decided to make a new one. We have fancy new reactive buttons that react to you hovering over them, with fancy icons and a fancy start game menu. We'll get to that later. This video will be split up in two separate parts. One first part where I go through the editors and create something new like last time. A new map and a new turret assembly. And the second part where I play said map and have some fun. So, let's go and create a map. We enter the editor and see a few options. Where is not quite implemented yet, as in I've not even started on it yet. The map editor has seen a few upgrades since last. First of all, this tiny map size selector has seen a small overhaul. It's a bit more useful. But let's create a small map, 20 by 20 in size. As you can see, the map editor has seen a minor UI overhaul in a actual toolbar up here. So let's create a small map. Start by enveloping the entire map in a very edgy red color. And then placing, let's do something weird. A bit like last time, I guess. I'm just doing stuff. Don't think too much about it. Yeah, you gotta go here. Fuck. That was not supposed to happen. That's a bug. I'm gonna fix that later. Yeah, fuck it. Once the layout of the map has been created, we can place down a, let's say, a data stream. This doesn't actually do anything on itself, it's purely aesthetical. Let's just make it tiny. That doesn't really make sense, but it's fun to look at. And some enemy endpoints. These are the points that the enemies will move towards in-game. The enemy spawn points, on the other hand, are where they spawn from. So they will spawn and move along a predetermined path. Before we save, we need to make no build zones, and these are areas where the player cannot place something, either turrets or walls or any other kind of structure. The enemies can, of course, move past it. And there we go. It's a very, very garbage map, but it's just for demonstration purposes, so it's all right. Let's save it. Map successfully saved. Turn to main menu. So, now we build a map. Let's create a new turret. Go into the assembly editor. And here you'll see it has seen a similar user interface overhaul right here. There still are a very limited amount of turret components in the game, so we just can build something simple. But we have a few new systems in place that are visible in here. So let's start by building let's build a medium base. Place a small quad fire synchronizer on it, and this is a fun one. Place, where are you? There you are. 4 small rotators, one on each spot, and then 4 machine guns. Call it a quad cannon. Now here's the fun part. In the last version, turret upgrades were a bit shit. They were basically predetermined based on the types of components that were on the assembly. In this version, however, turret upgrades are completely customized. So we have the first tier, initial tier right here. So we add another one. And we just built pretty much the same. A quad-fire synchronizer, a small rotator on each spot. But now we place a tier 2 weapon instead. And we do the same with the third tier. Small rotator. And I've probably fucked it up, but that's alright. And a tier 3 machine gun. Now this is ready to fuck shit up. Save it. I found a bug. Give me a minute. I have returned with the bug not fixed, but worked around for now. We save the assembly. Assembly has been saved. Return to main menu. So now we created an assembly. Let's go deploy it by starting a new game. Here we see the brand new custom game menu. We are able to select from a map, such as the teddy map we just created, with the awful description, or any other map we so desire. We have a small little preview and a description. So let's select the teddy map. We are able to pick between a number of different difficulties, and the difficulty properties can be seen below. If you want to, you can edit them, but we don't want to do that right now. So let's start it up. Once we are in-game, we see a small dialog box with Hackerman. Hackerman will give you the introduction to the game. Defend the green shit, this right here. Defending the green shit can be a daunting task. Are you up for the challenge, or do you need a quick tutorial to get you going? If you want a tutorial, it's a really basic tutorial, but if you want a tutorial, you can click the "Give it to me now, baby" button. But we don't need that right now, so no thanks, I'm good. So, let's play. Let's start by, we can see that the upcoming enemies are 40 blue enemies. So we place a machine gun somewhere. Just place it right here. It shoots, oh my god, we got an achievement. That's new. We can see a bit more about that later. But this guy's just firing away, killing anything in sight. And we can afford another one, so let's just build another. But we also have a bit of research. And if you watched the previous video, you saw that research was a thing there as well. But it has been reworked a bit. So previously, you could do X amount of research at the same time. Now it's just unlocked. You can do as many as you want, but they have a certain cost, usually in research, and they take a certain amount of waves to complete. So let's research an unlock for the machine, or an upgrade for the machine gun, and the shotgun as well. Why not? Those will both take 2 rounds to complete. So let us play those 2 rounds real quick. This game needs sounds so bad. First round complete. We unlocked a bit more research. Currently you just unlock 1 research per round. But the intent is to change that with a loot system. We did have loot in the previous pre-alpha version, but I decided to remove that because it sucked. It's gonna come back, but in a better way. Let us unlock the pulse laser tier 2. We can see right here, right? There's one way remaining before this is unlocked. We can see that we need research before we can unlock, before we can purchase this upgrade. So let's play in the next wave as well. And the wave is complete. Now we completed machine gun tier 2 upgrade. So now we can actually upgrade this one. And bam, we have a tier 2 upgrade. We also unlocked some new research, the machine gun tier 3 upgrade, which is sick. We're gonna get to that later. Let's play the next wave. And here we are. Completed the next wave. We have the shotgun as well. Did that previous wave as well. Shut up. Let's place one down. Let's just unlock the rocket as well. This sprite needs work. Specifically, the animation needs work. This sprite is awesome. Alright, so disregarding that, we completed the next wave. Here we see that we have a few more types of enemies. We have a small yellow type of enemy. These are fast and tiny. So these guys aren't really that great at them. They can deal with them, but they're not amazing. Just place down a pulse laser cannon right here. And they just zap them straight away. They are so satisfying to watch. There is a mechanic as well, where a turret of the same color as an enemy will deal double damage, known as critical damage. So having a very turret composition is important. Let's upgrade tier 3 of the machine gun and get this one as well. So now it's a twin pulse laser cannon. It does a bit more damage, and it has two cannons. And it fucks. It fucks hard. Let's upgrade this one as well. Don't worry, we're gonna die soon enough anyways. We just need to unlock the assembly we made before, and then we'll go look at something else, right? Just continue with the waves. Unlocking. Of course, there isn't that much content in the game quite yet. It's still it's the first version of beta. I decided to hold off on implementing a lot of content before the beta, just in case anything changes, and I need to delete it all anyways. That has happened multiple times, and it is very annoying. We see a wave with a lot of red enemies. These have a bit of armor on them actually, so if a weapon deals less damage per shot, then... Oh, we got another achievement. If a weapon deals less damage per shot than the enemy's armor value, then the damage will be cut down by some percentage. If the bullet or if the projectile does more damage than the enemy's armor value, then it's just a flat cut off. Under any circumstances, armor means that we need heavy weapons. Heavy weapons with a slow firing rate and a lot of damage to deal with them effectively. So, we got rocket launchers for that. Actually, haven't upgrades, so let's just place a few. And here we have the purple enemies. These are relatively new. And the sprite is entirely, as with everything else, stolen from the first game. As with the first game, they clone into they split into 4 smaller enemies on death. And currently they are lag machines, which is fun. Just continue. It is currently around 3 AM in the morning, and I am wicked tired. Oh hey, can you look at that? Can you look at that? Let's look at that. The pulse laser cannon wasn't quite enough to deal with all of them, because they were so fast, and these rocket launchers can't do shit against them. So let's try and avoid that by placing one more. And why not just... fuck, we can't do that yet. We need a bit more money for that. but we almost have all 3 of these basic weapons upgraded to tier 3. Or specifically, we have the upgrades available. And they wreck shit right now. We can afford a tier 3 upgrade, so let's do it. And now it sucks? No, it fucks. If you are wondering about the quality of this voiceover, it's because it's the first time I've ever done one. So I'm ready to look back at this in a few years' time and cringe hard. That's gonna be fun. That's how life is, right? Always growing. Alright. So, let's not get all philosophical right now and unlock the medium base. This is the last component we need to unlock the assembly we created earlier. The quad synchronized fire, you know what I mean. The extra thing I put on. It's already unlocked by default. We don't need to worry about that. I love these pulse laser cannons. They're so satisfying to watch. Oh my god, we're rich. It's another achievement. All the achievements are coming in a bit too often right now. I'm planning to move them further apart. Oh, would you look at that? With the new base unlocked, we can now place the quad cannon. Let's place it right in the middle. Oh my god, we got an achievement. Who could have foreseen this coming? Anyways, this thing can reach all throughout the map, and it is quite powerful. As you can see. The synchronizer we put on earlier actually synchronizes the weapon so they all fire in sequence, and it is quite satisfying to watch. This is really effective if you have really slow firing weapons like a rocket launcher. You can have them all firing in sequence like that, and they're usually much more effective like that. But now we've seen this, let's go back, quit, and look at what we've got. So, we got a few achievements, right? Let's go look at them in the achievements hub. We see, in waves they fall, clear 50 waves of enemies. We have not done that. I don't know why I unlocked that. That's weird. I'll puncture the next thing that moves. That's the quad cannon we deployed. We're rich. That's earning 10k credits. We love you too. That's secret. That's says it right there. Kill 1 enemy and kill 10,000 enemies. And every one of these, most of these unlock something actually. So if you go back to the start menu, we see we unlocked a few mutators. And these alter the way the game is played. But before we check that out, let's have a look at something. Go back to the assembly editor. We see this little guy. That's a new type of turret component. That's an explosive rounds module. So if we place down a tiny little turret, just a machine gun, and placed a explosive rounds module on the back of it, we can say, fuck off and die. That's our new turret. My mom would be proud. She's probably gonna see this. And then let's just fucking enable everything. Undying enemies. When you kill an enemy, there is a certain chance that they will return with full health. And you can even have it reroll on success. So if the enemy returns, then there is another reroll on whether or not they will spawn a clone. And that continues until it fails. Don't put that on 100% with that on. That's a bad idea. Mitosis mode. When an enemy dies, it will spawn or more specifically, when an enemy of a higher tier dies, it will spawn a certain amount of lower tier variants. So let's put it on 4. Inflation mode, we don't want to worry about that right now, it's a bit shit. And completely disregard that 2 more has just magically appeared right here, because I totally didn't have to make a cut because I fucked something up. Let's enable the sandbox mode as well. This will just give us infinite money. Infinite resources in general. So these doesn't matter at all. Let's take another difficulty while we're at it. So, starting a new game, you can see we have everything unlocked. We do have infinite resources, just to say that right there, because I'm lazy. And we have infinite research, but everything is unlocked anyways. And the only thing we can research right now is unlocks. No thanks, I'm good. So, now we can see we have the assembly we created just before with the explosive rounds module on it. And we can see that when it hits something, they explode. If you look closely, you can see that because of the undying enemies mutator, enemies have a chance, about a 1 in 4 chance to revive instantly on death. And this can be quite scary with a lot of enemies. Those particular purple enemies are horrifying with this mutator. Of course, every mutator can be enabled alongside everything else, with some exceptions in the future. Right now everything can just be added, but in the future I can imagine we have some mutators that are incompatible with each other. But that's in the future. Enough of the gameplay, let's have a look at the technical stuff. So, let's start with an example. If we go into the start menu, we can see how there are 4 difficulty options as before. An easy, medium, hard and brutal option. If we go back and quit the game, close down itch.io, here we see the difficulty folder in the game's content. And we can see how each difficulty we saw before is defined. Easy, medium, hard and brutal. So we looked at the hard difficulty. Here we can see, if I'll zoom in a bit, we can see that the difficulty is defined, the basic information about it, and the aspects which make it up. So there is a resource difficulty aspect, which defines how many restarting resources the player has, and an enemy scalar difficulty, which defines how much health they have, and how much armor and so on. But we can modify this and create our own difficulties. So let's make a copy of this and move it into our custom content. We created a difficulty folder and moved the copy in here. Let's just rename it to WIMP and rename it in here as well. The grade identifier should probably be easy. This determines where the difficulty lies on the list, as well as give it a custom identifier. This is just something that you need to each item in the game, or each item in a certain category, just so that the game can differentiate between them. Let's just call it custom.wimp. We don't care about the description, it doesn't do anything yet. And in this difficulty we want to have a ton of money and a ton of research, and the enemies only have half health. So, with that done, let's try and run the game again. Going to start, and here we see the WIMP difficulty. See how we have 5,000 starting credits, 50 starting research, and half enemy health. So if we go into a game like that, we can see starting everything. No thanks, I'm good. Place down a machine gun. This usually takes 2 shots to kill an enemy. Now it only takes 1. And that's the gist of custom difficulty. Every single piece of content in the game can be customized. You can create your very own custom content packs. So if you see, for instance, if you go back into the content folder, the core content pack is just this one, with every single piece of content in it. defined as, for instance, this defines the hackerman character we saw before. Just have a name and a list of expressions. If you wanted your own dialogue options with your own character, you could define your own character like so. Or it could be custom turret components, such as the machine gun Mark III. These can be very long, but you can define your very own turret components like this, using either the scripts and objects that are in the game already, or through loading in plugins. You can define your own, or you can write your very own code. You just merely need to create a new folder and call it plugins. And then the game will load all scripts that you put in there, load all .NET assemblies that you put in there. Please do not put any viruses in there, that would be a dick move. All the content that the player creates in-game, that's the wrong folder. It's also saved as content like this. So we see the quad cannon we created earlier, it's defined in here. And everything is defined in JSON, so it's easy to read, easy to modify, easy to create external tools for. We could have a look into the code as well, if there is any interest for that. Just give a word if you want to have a look into the code, and we can take a look into the code. With all that said, I'm gonna go to bed now. You guys have fun. If you have any feedback for the game after you tried it, just hit me up. If you have any suggestions, anything, just want to tell me the game sucks, that's not my problem. But for now, I'm gonna head off. Good night.